Welcome to this episode on feature comparison between AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Generally, you'll see comparison between AWS, Azure, or between AWS, Google Cloud. And this is the first attempt between AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, as well as the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. As far as the cloud infrastructure is concerned, Oracle Cloud is a late entrant, and AWS is a pioneer. Since 2013-14 onwards, AWS is in the field of cloud infrastructure. Oracle did introduce around 2016 or 17, but it is picking up since 2019 onwards. There is a reason for it. We'll see that as well. So in this presentation, it's more of a feature comparison only. I'm not going to compare on the pricing aspect, which is very complex to compare, nor on the number of data centers across each countries. Each one claim they have the best as far as the data center or from a pricing aspect. So I'm not going to get into those details. It is more of the feature comparison between the various platforms. Let's get into the first comparison. The first comparison is on learning and exploration. So maybe you are an IT professional, want to get into learning of cloud. So what is a user experience is going to be if you choose AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, or Oracle? Or maybe you are a student or a management consultant, want to get into the cloud and learn about it. What are the features available? The first one is almost all of them offer the trial which is varying from 1 month to 12 months max. They provide a trial and you can access all the features across platform. Only point to notice, there's a cap. They provide anywhere between 300 USD to 500 USD, and they because it is a free credit they provide, they reduce it from time to time based on the services you take up. And in case if you are taking the services or which is going to go beyond that whatever is offered, maybe for example if it is going to be 300 USD, then irrespective of the time period it becomes chargeable. So if you consume the 300 USD within 10 days, the 12 months period or 3 months period doesn't matter, you will get charged to it. So you need to be careful on that part. The other one is, of course, what is interesting is the always free tier. This one I was not aware till 2019 when Oracle said they are going to provide a free tier, and some of the tangible features like the virtual machine, right, like the relational database. We know like the Oracle relational database, 90% or 80 to 90% of the commercial applications are still on the Oracle relational databases. So they offered their latest autonomous database, which is said to be on 19C. You can provision two autonomous database, whether it is transactional or could be a data warehouse database. You can provision two database on the Oracle Cloud instance. Similarly, two of the VMs, virtual machine. So virtual machine is something like what you have it as a laptop. Maybe you have it on a Linux machine, or you can have it on a Windows machine. Here in this case, it's only difference it is that it is going to be on the cloud, and you can provision that virtual machine and use it just like your own standalone machines or on-premises machine, be it Windows or Linux. But there is a difference is that 2 VMs free. It's of limited capacity or capability, 1/8 of OCU and 1 GB RAM. So it's a basic machine, but still the offer is enticing. Like if you can even have your own small website hosted on that, because you have the external facing IP, you can host that website as well. And comparing to that, Google Cloud comes close to it. They offer one VM free, that E2 Micro, that is free. And apart from that, AWS, Azure, there are a little bit of complexity. It all depends on, always retired, depends on number of hours of usage and volume. Volume meaning like suppose if you're going to send some transaction, they say 5,000 transactions, it's free, and after that it is going to be costed. So there is complexity involved in that. So I felt these two, that is virtual machine and relational database, because Oracle database, as I said, it's commercially 80 to 90% are based on Oracle. This feature is much more enticing. And if you want to learn command line commands or SQL, PL SQL, or even Oracle Apex, you can all do it with the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So there is a definite plus as far as the first time user from a learning and exploration perspective with OCI. Let's now look at the next feature, which is the virtual machines. All the cloud platforms provide this virtual machine. You can create virtual machines based on the different shapes, that is with the CPUs, with the memory allocation, with the OS, what type of OS you want. Maybe you want a Linux OS, you want a Windows OS. So all this you can pick and choose, and you can create a virtual machine. So AWS provides it and calls it as Amazon EC2. Azure calls it as Azure Virtual Machine. Google as Compute Engine, and the Oracle as the OCI Compute. And there are different types as well, which is provided in the comments. It could be shared, meaning physically on a machine, multiple people can create a compute engine, or you could have a dedicated one for yourself, or it could be a kind of a bare metal. So not going into the technicals, but the point to note is all of them provide this feature of virtual machines. So as I said, the different configuration, the CPUs, OS, the memory allocation, resource pooling, meaning like you want to increase, you want to add CPUs, you want to, particularly when the job, you have a heavy workload, then you want to add more CPUs. So that is concept of resource pooling. All that can be performed, and all of them provide that feature as well. And all of the cloud platform supports resource automation through the command line interface. You can provision it, the necessary resources apart from the console, the cloud console. You can do it with a command line interface, and if you want to do it programmatically, there are software development kits with a language like Python, Java, which supports that. So through the programmatically you can do it as well, and all of them supports the infrastructure as a code, which is Terraform and Ansible. All of them support this feature as well. So as far as the virtual machines are concerned, not much of a difference. So I would say it is evenly poised across all of the cloud platform. The next comparison is on the storage. There are generally two types of storage. One is the object storage, which is directly on the cloud. So you can upload any of the any kinds of file, maybe an image file, audio file, or a huge file for any kind of a processing. So you could store on the cloud storage. So all of them across all platform, it's provided. AWS call it by simple storage S3. Azure called it as Azure Block Storage, Google as Cloud Storage, and OCI, of course, it's called it as the Object Storage. The next one is the block volume. So in the virtual machine, suppose if you want to add more storage, then it is through a block volume. So block volume, again, Oracle calls it as block volume. Google Cloud calls it as a persistent disk. Azure calls it as Azure Page Blocks or Premium, and Amazon calls it as Amazon Elastic Block Storage. The reason is the word elastic is that if you want, you can have it, or you could always deprovision it. So based on the space requirement, you can add or deprovision. So all of them provides the object storage, and all of them provides this kind of a storage for a virtual machine, and which is predominantly called as the block storage or block volume or persistent disk in case of GCP, and Azure calls it as the page blobs. So the interesting fact here is the OCI, even with always free tier, they provide all these features. Even in the block volume, even in the object storage, they provide some of the features. So if you are using a free tier from a learning perspective, you want to do something, yes, definitely it's a positive with the Oracle cloud infrastructure. Let's now look at the another feature, which is the database. So the first one is on top over here is the relational database, which is popularly known as RDBMS. And recent times, like maybe about a decade before, we started looking or hearing about non-relational database or NoSQL database. So all of them, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and Oracle has these features. And AWS, it is Amazon Aurora or Amazon RDS as far as relational database is concerned. And Azure calls it as SQL database. Google, it's Cloud SQL, BigQuery is there. And Oracle, it's known as the latest version, which is known as the autonomous database. You have transaction and warehouse DB as well. So there are name differences, but these features are being provided by all of the cloud platform. The point to note is that Oracle, as I've been saying, that most of the, somewhere between 70 to 90% of all the commercial application is still using the Oracle database. So, and more importantly, like even with a free tier, you get that you can provision the autonomous database with up to a maximum capacity of 20 GB. So if you want to learn, or if you want to try out, if you want to do a pilot, so initially, then there is a definite plus. And apart from that, if you look at the always free tier, there is always Oracle Apex comes with the autonomous database. Oracle machine learning, it's built on the Oracle RDBMS. This is an interesting feature. Like say if you have data residing already in the database, which is all transaction database, which is commercial database, and if you want to build model for machine learning, then there is a already feature available with the Oracle machine learning on the OCI. So that's an interesting feature. It's there since Oracle cloud infrastructure was built. So this way, it's a definite. There is also analytical tools, and this varies from time to time. Their new features are being introduced, or for that matter, even machine learning, the features are being introduced. Initially, it was just with it was supporting only SQL, and recently they have included the others as well with Python, and you can use Zeppelin notebook as well with the Oracle cloud infrastructure. So that way, from a learning perspective and exploration perspective, definitely, and of course with the Oracle RDBMS, I'm not talking about the NoSQL database. So apart from Oracle RDBMS, the next one is of course the SQL one, the Azure SQL, or the Microsoft, which provides that SQL database. So definitely, from my perspective, there is a definite plus as far as the Oracle offering is concerned. Let's now look at another feature, which is the development tools which is available on the cloud platform, which is maybe it is on the ETL, which is extract, transform, load, chatbot, or workflow automation, or it is for towards processing images, big data related one, image processing or voice processing, or even the IoT as well. So these are the various tools which is being provided, and all of them provides that, whether it is Google, Azure, AWS or OCI, all these tools are provided. Different kinds of tools are provided. Some of them, like Google provides it, some of the freeware, not the freeware, like open source tools like Apache Airflow is built, they are built as Cloud Composer in Google. They term it as Cloud Composer. So whatever is the Apache Airflow, which is an open source, they have done that with Google Cloud Composer. So that way, there are various tools. There are it's difficult to say which is the best one, but depends on the project requirement a company has. That is where the concept of multi-cloud is catching up. Some of the tools is better off in a certain, suppose for example, if your project requires the Apache Airflow and you want to use the cloud, then yes, naturally you got to go into the Google Cloud Platform. So that way you need to pick and choose, and the concept of you need to have a multi-cloud platform. And yeah, if you look at it, it is evenly poised. Even though it is evenly poised, I would say like the Azure is slightly better off. Then comes the AWS, then comes the GCP. Yes, in this way I felt, I mean, the OCI has the lesser one. So it all depends on the project you are working on. So even though it is evenly poised, this is how I would rank it: Azure, followed by AWS, GCP and OCI. Let's quickly look at another feature, which is the microservices. So you might have heard about Dockers, Kubernetes, etc. And all of them provide that. Be it AWS, Azure, Google Cloud and Oracle. The name is the difference. So if it is the container platform, AWS App Runner, it is Azure Container Apps, Google Cloud Run, and as far as OCI, it's Oracle Functions. And the app developer platform as such, it's AWS Lambda, Azure Service Fabric, Google Cloud Function with Oracle Functions. So there is a name difference. Apart from that, almost all the cloud platform provides these features of building up container based applications, which is using Dockers or Kubernetes. So I would say it's evenly poised across all the platform. And finally, last but not the least, the identity and access management. This is where if you manage it well, the cloud platform, it could you can visualize just like your on-premises platform, the users, how you are going to provision the users, how you are going to group them, and what is the access you are going to provide them with. This all comes under the identity management, identity access management. It's more of a security feature, and again all of them provides that brilliantly. And as far as AWS is concerned, it's identity access management. Azure, it's Active Directory. Google Cloud, again identity access management. Oracle, again it's identity access management. And with the security aspect, if you look at it, AWS, it's cloud, it's guard duty. And with Azure, it's Security Center. With Oracle, it's Security Advisor and Oracle Cloud Guard. I didn't feel any kind of a difference between all of them. These features are there. This particularly when it's applicable when you want to manage the entire cloud application with number of users, both internally within the organization, and if there are external folks who are coming into your web or into your network, then it becomes an important feature. So here again, I would say it is evenly poised. So this is just a handful of features, and apart from that there are many other features as well. So you need to, this depends on, you need to go into the respective cloud platform and choose them. Otherwise, as discussed, there are some of them, yes, the OCI, even though they are a late entrant, particularly from a learning perspective, learning exploration perspective, building up the initial pilot, the Oracle cloud infrastructure seems to be better off compared to the other cloud platform. This is just my observation of using the cloud platform in the last few years. Thank you and stay tuned. Cheers.